Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to another one of the Wise Up Wednesday series. Today, it is about how we learn SAP in specific and how SAP education has evolved to address changing learner needs. We've got Christine Arundel, our EMEA Education Portfolio Manager, who will be delivering the Wise Up session today. She's responsible for the overall education portfolio in the EMEA region, and also involved with go-to-market strategy for new offerings. We need to be changing or reinventing the way we learn SAP today. Hence, she's delivering the session today. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it on to Christine, and we'll take any questions towards the end of the Wise Up session today. The overall Wise Up series is going to be for about 20 minutes today, and then the last 10 minutes will be for Q&A. But I do encourage you all to put in any of your questions during the entire session in the question pod, and we'll address them towards the end of the session. Thank you, and over to you, Christine.
Thanks very much, Preeti, and hi, everybody. So as Preeti said, my name is Christine Arundel, and I'm really happy to have the chance to talk to you today. So let me start with a short introduction. Preeti mentioned that I'm the Education Portfolio Manager for the EMEA region. And I've actually been part of the SAP education team for just under 10 years now. I actually started out as an instructor for SAP, and I've delivered many traditional classroom trainings, and I did love every second of it. But while I remember those days with real fondness, if I think about the way in which I learn today, I know that firstly, I don't always have the luxury to take time out from my schedule to attend classroom training. And secondly, there are so many other ways in which I can get the knowledge and experience that I need. So over the next 20 minutes or so, I'd really like to explore this topic of going beyond the traditional classroom with you all. Now, in 2016, the world of learning and education is very different to how it looked even 5 years ago. We've got a new learning landscape which demands new and innovative education solutions. Now, I like to think of myself as being quite young at heart, but when I look around me in the office today, I'm surrounded by much younger colleagues who've got very different values, ways of working, and of course, learning preferences. They all grew up in a very different world to me, where technology made many new things possible. So if we look back to when traditional classroom training was the norm and the major method of enabling our workforce, a very large percentage of our learners were baby boomers, who typically favor guided learning at specified time periods and linear acquisition of information. But of course now the workforce is also made up of Generation Xers, our millennials, Generation Z, who have a very different attitude to learning. So they're often very tech savvy, and they expect to be able to learn in a piecemeal way, so getting answers to immediate problems when and where they need them. And this means that instead of learning which is scheduled 9 to 5 in a classroom, a more self-directed, informal approach is generally favoured. So this is the challenge. With so many generations in the workforce today, each with very different values and ideas and learning styles and preferences, how can we satisfy everybody and meet all of their learning objectives? And not only do we need to consider the learning preferences of different groups, but it's also important to understand the impact of constant technology innovations and changes in business today. So companies are investing really heavily in new technology to create new processes and improve existing ones. And that pace of change is continuously accelerating. Many organizations, for example, are transitioning to the cloud, so another huge change. And there's a big risk of not recouping your technology return on investment if the workforce isn't in tune with all of those different changes. So all of this means that learning has to be a continuous process. Traditional event-based training is no longer sustainable as the main method of enablement. Continuous enablement is basically key to success and return on investment. So we know there are many aspects to consider when it comes to learning. Flexible learning solutions are needed so individuals can prepare for projects on demand, as well as maintaining existing knowledge and preventing knowledge leaks, and just generally increasing their understanding about SAP software solutions. Learning needs to be accessible anytime and through multiple delivery methods. They have to include informal and virtual learning options to suit the learning style of all of those different individuals. And of course, financial aspects need to be considered. So many organizations are very keen to reduce their dependency on third-party consultants, while at the same time they're of course looking to reduce the opportunity cost resulting from training time. We really need to maximize learning and training budgets whilst minimizing time out of the office and travel costs. So with all of these factors at play, it might not seem so easy to determine the best enablement plan. I mean, formal training courses are still valuable in teaching learners the basics and to refresh knowledge, but on their own, they don't always deliver the best outcomes. Context is also vital for effective learning. So learning is more powerful and more likely to result in behavior change when the learning context and the working context are identical. We all generally learn best by doing in the context of our work, or at least where the learning context closely represents the work environment where our new capabilities are going to be used. Other activities in the workplace, so opportunities to practice in real situations, support, advice and guidance from experts and your peers, and just simple reflection are all important and support the knowledge gained in those formal training courses. Now, the 70-20-10 model, which is shown in the slide here, is a commonly used approach which describes the optimal sources of learning by successful managers, with the different categories referring to the different ways in which people learn. Now, the model holds that successful individuals obtain about 70% of their knowledge from experiential and situational learning, so on-the-job experience, 20% from social learning, learning through others and other informal learning such as self-study and independent research, and only 10% from structured or formal learning. So that includes instructor-led training and e-learning, for example. Now, this model was created back in the 80s, and since then there have been some changes in learning technologies, which have led some people to argue that this model doesn't take into account the market's growing emphasis on informal learning. But while the model's specific ratios might be slightly different today, it does remain generally consistent with the learning experiences of many individuals, and I think it continues to serve as a really useful guideline. So now I'd like to spend just a little bit of time discussing how we at SAP Education are embracing this new learning landscape. So we know that we need to offer flexibility for learners. They should be able to consume learning independent of their schedule, geography, or the devices that they're using. We understand that individuals need an engaging learning experience. It should be easy to learn. It should be fun. But at the same time, we need to ensure that learners are in a position to perform their job well, perhaps putting them on the path to becoming certified, for example. And we know that we need to offer an approach which supports life cycle learning. So I imagine some of you listening today have had some experience with SAP Education before. Perhaps you've attended a classroom training with us in the past. And okay, we've just been talking about the changes in the learning landscape, but face-to-face, formal instructor-led training is still a part of that landscape and has a number of benefits, including a very high degree of interaction with subject matter experts and your co-learners. So we do continue to offer an extensive schedule of public courses at our various training centres, as well as virtual deliveries of some of our training. So learners don't always need to travel. Often our customers and partners find a private delivery of our training more suitable. For example, when you're undergoing a big implementation, it can make sense to consider a tailored event covering topics of specific interest for that project. And this is something which I'd like to explore a little bit later on with you. But we do know now that one-off training events on their own are not enough to satisfy the needs of learners and organizations where constant change and innovation is happening all of the time. Luckily, SAP Education provides the perfect solution for this challenge. It's called SAP Learning Hub. and it's our cloud-based learning platform which provides instant, unlimited access to our huge education knowledge base. So with Learning Hub, learners get on-demand access to a wide and increasing range of content, and that includes e-learnings, course handbooks and more in multiple languages. And that huge range and quality of content is enhanced by a social learning experience supported by SAP experts in the form of what we call SAP learning rooms. So in the learning rooms, learners can collaborate with each other and SAP instructors, getting answers to their questions and support when they need it. So all of this means that learners can keep their existing SAP skills up to date. They can cross-train and develop new skills in innovation areas. They can deep dive into specific topics of interest, and they can prepare for new projects and programs, perhaps getting ready to take SAP certifications, all in a completely flexible, cost-effective way. So SAP Learning Hub provides really great flexibility for learners. I mean, the ability to study content in your own time, as and when you need to, is a really huge benefit. But simply reading a handbook or even following simulations in an e-learning isn't always enough for some people. So many would argue that the best way to retain knowledge is to use it. So getting your hands dirty by practicing in a real system. Now, we also have that taken care of with SAP Live Access. So Learning Hub subscribers have got the exclusive right to buy access to live SAP systems on demand, very much like you would purchase internet access in a hotel room, for example. So SAP Live Access provides you with your own private, self-contained training environment, where you can practice course exercises, but also you can explore. So you can start the training system when you need to. You can pause the training system, but at the same time your current configuration and data will be saved. And then when you're ready, you can resume the system again and continue your hands-on practice. So SAP Live Access really is an important offering because, of course, not everybody has a suitable system at home or back at the office where they can really practice and explore. And even if they do, it might not be configured or contain the data needed to repeat the exercises from the course material that you would study in the SAP Learning Hub. So Live Access time is purchased in 20-hour blocks, and you get full transparency of your consumed time and how much time you have left. You've even got the ability to swap to a system for a different course if you've got any time remaining and you want to switch and do something a bit different. So I firmly believe in all of the SAP education solutions I've just described to you. Individually, they've all got many benefits and deliver huge value. But let's come back to the original theme of today's talk, the new learning landscape, the need to ensure that all aspects of learning are taken into account and the learning preferences of different groups are catered for. Remember, the 70-20-10 model is all about embracing 100% of learning needs. So what if we were to combine all of these SAP education solutions to come up with blended learning programs which cater for different learner groups and different modes of delivery? I mean, for you to really unlock the value of your SAP software and solutions, we've got to be able to provide you with a flexible learning model. Now, in fact, SAP Education are already creating learning programs for our customers based on a combination of self-study through SAP Learning Hub, plus system practice using SAP Live Access, and some instructor-led training. So let's just take a quick look at an example of what one of these blended learning plans might look like. So here's a great example, SAP HANA. So SAP Education has a huge amount of offerings in this really important area. What you see here is just the enablement for one specific focus area, and that's the admin and operations area within SAP HANA. So even in this one specific topic, there are a number of different courses which could be delivered as instructor-led training, but which are also available for self-study in SAP Learning Hub. And Learning Hub also offers an expert-moderated learning room on this topic, Plus, you can see that SAP Live Access training systems are available for practice of the hands-on exercises of the courses. So what we can do is mix and match the different pieces available in any number of different ways, basically whatever suits the individual situation. So here you see just one example of how we might do that. So we could start with an instructor-led kickoff day to introduce the topic and perhaps provide some initial guidance. A good idea, especially where the topic is new to learners, that first expert guidance can really give them the confidence and the base knowledge that they need. And that session, of course, could be delivered physically in the classroom, but also virtually. It all depends on the specific situation. Now, this might be followed by self-study of content in SAP Learning Hub. Now, we're happy to guide learners on what they should study, but of course the beauty of Learning Hub is they are free to do this according to their own timetable and at their own pace. And of course they don't have to be restricted, so they are free to explore and dig further into the different Learning Hub assets if they've got the time and the inclination to do so. Now, while learners are progressing through that content, they can take advantage of SAP Live Access to complete the hands-on exercises from the courses which they're working through and explore the concepts that they're learning. Plus, they've also got that all-important support from experts, instructors and peers through the corresponding SAP Learning Room. Now, in this example, another instructor-led session is introduced kind of halfway through the program to ensure that any questions and concerns from the self-study aspect are taken care of and to provide an introduction to and guidance for the next set of self-study to come. And this is basically repeated several times over with a final instructor-led session to tie everything together and summarize the learning at the end. But of course, this isn't the end, because with SAP Learning Hub and Live Access, learners can then continue to build their knowledge and expertise throughout the rest of the year. They can explore the content and assets which are outside of their initial subject area. They can take advantage of Delta content and updates. I mean, they can pretty much learn anything they want to with SAP Learning Hub. So SAP blended learning programs are all about combining the best of all worlds. The use of Learning Hub for self-study to reduce the amount of formal classroom time needed, but still having that all-important instructor-led part through the program. Now, that time doesn't need to be structured like a typical formal 5-day classroom course, though. So sessions can be run in an informal workshop style. They might involve a wrap-up Q&A session to best use the instructor's expertise, basically using them to fill the self-study gaps to come up with a perfect offering tailored to the situation. Every customer is going to have their own specific goals, so SAP Education can help craft a plan on the best way to reach those goals. There are hundreds of ways in which the jigsaw could be put together. So just coming briefly back to the 70-20-10 learning model which we discussed earlier, you can now see, hopefully, that SAP Education has got solutions for all of the three categories. And we can help you craft the most suitable learning program made up of the right balance of formal and informal learning, plus the practical hands-on experience needed. Now, the right path is going to differ depending on the preferences of the learner, the subject to be learnt, the urgency of the need. I mean, there are many factors to take into account. And sometimes the balance might be different. So sometimes more formal instructor-led sessions might be more appropriate. Sometimes the balance might be more towards the hands-on. But we can help you to create exactly the right blend for the situation. So I hope you found this short session quite useful and food for thought. Now I'll hand back to Preeti to see if we've got any questions which we can hopefully answer in the time that we've got left.
Thanks, Christy. Thank you. I'm just going to quickly go through some of the questions. Okay. Okay, so the first question. Given what we've just talked about, do you think there will come a time when classroom training will disappear altogether?
And that's quite an interesting question. I don't think that instructor-led training will ever disappear. I think the format is going to change. I think we're going to see the nature of instructor-led training, the way it's delivered, the format of that training will change. So certainly, in 10 years' time, perhaps we're not all going to physically get together in a classroom, but I do still feel that face-to-face experience is important, and I think that many learners really do relish that experience. So it might not be physical classroom training that we see so much of in the future, but I do think that instructor-led training in some shape or form will continue for many years to come.
Excellent. Do you think we'll have instructors in the form of holograms in the future, maybe?
Well, I mean, technology these days means that we don't all need to be in the same physical environment to be able to interact and have that great face-to-face experience. We can conduct sessions virtually, and technology is going to make that easier. Technology is going to make the ways in which we can interact with each other and instructors and students going to be much easier and much more interesting in the future.
Excellent. Okay. Next one. What is the difference between Learning Hub and OpenSAP?
Okay, good question. So for all of the different curricula that we offer at SAP Education, obviously people need a starting point, right? So we want to get a basic understanding about a certain topic. We need to learn the fundamentals or get a really high-level overview about a certain topic. And this is where the OpenSAP offerings come into play. So OpenSAP offerings are free, and they provide you with that basic fundamental overview level knowledge that you need. But of course, once you've got that fundamental basic overview level knowledge, you're going to want to dive deeper. So you're going to need more details. You're going to want to get into the nitty-gritty of a certain topic. And so this is where in SAP Learning Hub, all of the different learning assets that we have available, so the e-learnings, the handbooks from our classroom courses, and of course the SAP learning rooms, they allow you to get to that next important deep level of knowledge.
Okay. Just looking. Can you explain a little bit more about learning rooms in Learning Hub?
So the SAP learning rooms, you can kind of think of them as being the heart of SAP Learning Hub, really, because if you think about what I explained earlier, Learning Hub contains a huge amount of content covering all different SAP solutions, all of our different curriculum areas. And obviously learners using SAP Learning Hub are free to explore and find content which they want to study and consume. But because there's so much in there, sometimes you're going to need some expert guidance. So the different SAP learning rooms that we have in there, they are run by expert instructors and experts from SAP. We have learning rooms covering lots of different topics. And the learning rooms provide guidance to learners about which content in SAP Learning Hub would be most appropriate for them to study for that particular topic area. So it provides them with a little bit of structure and some pointers to the various different assets that they should work through. Also, the SAP experts who run the SAP learning rooms, they often provide additional content and pointers to people, to supplement the standard education content which we have in Learning Hub. But also, the key thing with the SAP learning rooms is the opportunity for learners to interact and collaborate with both other learners and the SAP experts. So, for example, let's imagine that you're studying some content in SAP Learning Hub, and there's something which you're not quite sure about. So maybe you've got additional questions, you need additional clarification. Of course, because you're not in a physical classroom with an instructor, you don't have the opportunity to just put your hand up and say, could you help me? But in the SAP learning rooms, you can get answers to your questions. You can also have discussions and throw some ideas about with your co-learners. So it's a real social learning environment. It allows for really good collaboration between you and your peers, other learners, SAP experts. But it also provides you with that guidance. So what should I study? Where should I go? How should I work through the content in SAP Learning Hub? Where should I start? Where should I go next? And a lot of the learning rooms are geared towards SAP certification. So they kind of provide you with a path. Here is what you need to do. Here is not what you need to work through to get yourself prepared for your certification. They're not solely for certification. Everybody is free to join. All SAP Learning Hub subscribers are free to join the learning rooms. But they are the heart of Learning Hub, you could call them.
Okay. I think there was a follow-up question from the OpenSAP as well. So I'm just going to go back to that. So how does one access OpenSAP?
Okay, so open.sap.com, and you can register there, and then you can register for the different OpenSAP offerings. We do also link to the OpenSAP courses through SAP Learning Hub. So if you are an SAP Learning Hub subscriber, you can jump to them from there. But yes, open.sap.com to see the OpenSAP courses which are coming up soon. Which are running right now, but also to access content from OpenSAP courses which ran in the past as well. So open.sap.com.
Okay. I think there is a course-related question, which is the TURP 10 suitable for students, or is it for professionals who already have businesses?
Okay, so the TURP 10 is, just for those of you who don't know the course code, this is a course which covers business processes within SAP. So it talks about, at relatively high level, how everything integrates and covers several different topic areas. So actually it's suitable for both groups. It's really good for people who are relatively new to SAP, so perfectly suitable for students. But also, if an organization needs to upskill new learners, for example, people who are new to the SAP world, it's suitable for them too. It's for a very wide target audience.
Okay. Okay, just going through. We've got time for one more question. How to get access to SAP Live Access and which systems are covered? So I think they've given a few CRM, S/4HANA, APO, etc.
Okay. So SAP Live Access is available to purchase to all SAP Learning Hub subscribers. So if you have any of the commercial editions of SAP Learning Hub, you are eligible to purchase SAP Live Access. You can do that through our training shop. And you can actually see the full list of SAP Live Access courses through the Live Access portal, which is liveaccess.sap.com. And we cover a vast number of different curriculum areas. So a lot of your traditional SAP curriculum areas. Sorry, Preeti, what did you say the curriculum areas were? So
CRM.
Yeah, so CRM, S/4HANA, they are all covered. If you want to see the full list, either go to the SAP training shop, so training.sap.com. From the front page there, you will see an option to jump to information about SAP Learning Hub and Live Access. So you'll be able to jump and see the list of Live Access courses there. Or if you go to the SAP Live Access portal, which is liveaccess.sap.com, you can go there and browse through the list of courses for which we have SAP Live Access systems as well. Okay. I think there are over 300 SAP Live Access systems available for courses right now, but that's just growing all of the time. So as new courses are introduced, for example, for SAP S/4HANA, obviously it's very important that people get the opportunity to practice and get their hands on a system. S/4HANA live access systems are being introduced all of the time.
Okay, so again, because it's related to live access, I'm going to ask this question as well. What is the price level on SAP Live Access compared to, example, attending a classroom training?
Okay, so I mentioned before, when you purchase SAP Live Access, you're basically purchasing 20 hours of system access time. Now, Live Access, we have 3 different categories. And they range in price from, I think it's 150 euros for 20 hours of access time for the cheapest category, up to 450 euros, I think, for the most expensive. So depending on the course, depending on the system behind the course, there are 3 different categories. And of course, that 20 hours of system access time, you can, as I mentioned earlier, you can use that up as you like, so you don't have to use that 20 hours all in one go. You can, work for a couple of hours, then you can suspend the system, come back again maybe a week later to continue what you're doing. So, in terms of the system access, it's a really cost-effective way of getting that all-important hands-on in a real training environment.
Excellent. Okay. I think we're going over time already. Christine, do you want to take a few more questions? Wrap up, and then we can get back to them using the email facility.
I don't know, Preeti, do we have any more questions which are on other topics apart from the ones we've discussed already? I don't see any. They're all generally about live access, open SAP, learning rooms. So hopefully I've managed to answer all of the questions or give you a bit more information about the topics of interest. We can go through the remaining questions and get back to people later if necessary.
Excellent. I think we're overrunning as well, so I just got the notification that we're going to shut down in 1 minute. So, all right, we'll wrap up for now. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to either myself, Preeti Manoharan, or Christine Arundel. We'll send out a confirmation email with the recording as well. So you can reach out to us if you have any further questions. And if we've missed anything else, we'll get back to you as well. Thank you very much for joining us today, and have a lovely rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.